Please help make a wish come true.
Hello Toy Collector fans, Universal Toy Collector here, and welcome to the channel. And welcome to another Toy Photographers Showcase. Okay then, so Toy Photographers Showcase is where we get an awesome toy photographer, and he will come on and tell us all about his top 5 personal favorite toy photography photographs. Awesome. This is episode 2, and to help me do that, I have my good friend and co-host, Mark BobaHicks. Hello, sir. That was some intro. It was third time lucky, I think it was, to get that out. But yeah, how are you?
Doing good. Thanks for having me back on to
No. I mean, I thoroughly enjoyed the first episode, and I think you were the ideal person to co-host this with me. So really appreciate that. Now, for people who don't know, you're a toy photographer yourself. How often do you get out to do your toy photography?
Well, I was a little bit lazy this month, so not that often. But generally speaking, I try and get out maybe 2 or 3 times a week, providing the weather is decent and you're not getting rinsed out of it by rain or blown away by the wind. As long as the weather is calm enough to go out and bring a few toys out into the garden. So yeah, two or 3 times a week, most weeks, I'll try and get out and get a few shots.
Because you do a lot of you do the majority of your photography outside. I know I kind of mentioned it before, but I'm guessing the weather does play a massive part in it. Would you not risk going out and doing like a moody rain shot, or was that something that you wouldn't really fancy doing?
Well, I'll always go out on a very cloudy day. So, I might get my shots maybe before the rain arrives or maybe in the aftermath. But if I can help it, I'll try and avoid the most punishing of the weather. It's really just because it can be a little bit of a pain in the arse just to get the stuff set up. So if it's windy and rainy on top of that, figures are being blown over and, water's getting on the camera lens, it can just get a little bit annoying. So
yeah,
I try and just watch the skies and pick my moments so where it's most kind of calm and reasonable, and hopefully I'll get a few decent shots.
Awesome stuff. Talking of awesome shots, there's been some, we've got another 6 awesome toy photography photographs from our next guest, and let's get him on. It is Anthony Sword from the Imperial Communique. Hello, sir. How are you?
Greetings.
I know you do a lot of your photography outside. How much of an impact does the weather have on your photography? Because you're from California, aren't you? So I'm guessing the weather's normally not too bad.
Well, it really depends. One thing I really worry about is the UV light, especially since I shoot stormtroopers. Luckily, I think that the new stuff is pretty tolerant for that. But some of the pictures that I have here, I went up to Vasquez Rocks, and you got to start worrying about the wind because it's a little microclimate there. So like this one shot was like, I mean, we just picked a day and it just happened to be windy, so it was a little precarious. Sometimes there's some domino effects going, just so it just depends on where I go.
yeah. So you've done you sent over 5 photos, and I think they're absolutely fantastic. Mark hasn't had the the privilege to see them yet, but you've also sent over a honourable mention. So what we'll do is we'll get that up, and I'll just pop that up here. Okay. Look at that. And let me just get rid of that. So yeah, this is your honourable mention. Why did this not make it into your top 5?
Because I'm in it, for one thing. But it's an honorable mention because I don't consider myself photographing very well, and Mock Afra, who is with me for this shoot, I didn't know she was taking behind the scenes photos, and she just captured this one, and just everything about it, I'm like, oh my god, this is just awesome. I just capturing me doing my thing, having fun in my element.
Yeah.
It's just like it's one of my favorite photos in the world.
It's an awesome photo, Mark.
It's amazing. It's amazing, and I think what I like about it is it's kind of like a behind the scenes look at your process in a lot of ways, just setting up the figures and getting ready for the shot. So for
Yeah.
this particular shot that you were setting up, was this something that you had been spending a lot of time setting up that day, or what was going on here?
Well, I mean, this was an impromptu. It was a little vacation between me and Mark Capra. We went up the coast, so this is in San Simeon slash Cambria, California, up on the coast. So just off to the side of the Pacific Ocean. But I had a box of figures, and I'm like, and I've been up there before, and it's a beautiful location, lots of rocks, just great scenery. So I figure, well, do you mind? Do you mind if we go out and do a little photography? And just found a location, just total improvisation. Spare of the moment. So, but it was we spent a good day doing it.
I mean, for me, it does look like you're just on like a film set, and you're arranging miniatures and stuff like that, ready to do like an action sequence or a shoot or something like that. I've said to you before about this picture because you've been on My Collecting Life, and it very much reminds me of like a Steven Spielberg kind of shot that you'd see in one of his films that he does.
Especially the one from Raiders of the Lost Ark. I mean, that's one of my favorite photos, where he's got the little he's got a little viewfinder there, and just over all these little army men setting up a wide shot. Yeah, it reminds me of that.
Yeah. So what was going on here in this picture? What was the scene? What was happening in this picture?
Well, I'm an Imperial guy, so I brought a good squad of Imperials and then a squad of Rebels. And just they're surrounding them. That's like, all right, guy, we got you surrounded. There's no escape. And if you've seen somewhere the actual photos are posted, but you'll just see that from various angles, where they are, like the Rebels are like, yeah, we're done. You got us.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. So what we'll do is we'll crack on with your first. Now, your top 5, you've said that there's no particular order, so I'll run the slides through as they come and stuff like that, and we've got 4 questions for you, 2 each. So we'll crack on with the first one. So this one here. Now, this is one of my favorite photos. I think it is absolutely fantastic. So the first question to you, Anthony, is what was your thought process or inspiration for this photo?
Just the it's just the scenery, the behind the scenes is that this is my favorite location on the planet. It's Locust Lake State Park in Pennsylvania. I've been camping there since I've been 14 years old. I go back every year Memorial Day weekend and brought a box of figures. This is the first time when I created the channel, and I thought, people do photography, they take their figures out and do this type of thing, and I figure, well, let's give it a shot. And just walking in the woods, and there's this beautiful creek, and just found a nice spot. And I thought, what if they're just Imperials on patrol? Just scouting out the Rebels or the riffraff on the planet.
Yeah. Oh, it looks absolutely awesome. I love it. And I this is definitely one of my favorites for sure. Absolutely. Mark?
Yeah, I adore it. It's a great shot, and I love. I have a real soft spot for the Imperials myself, and I love just seeing a nice bunch of troopers, and a few nice examples here. I'm assuming these are all TVC figures. Is that right?
Yeah,
These are
yeah.
all, yeah, they look great. They're so realistic. You've posed them really well. It does look like they're actually wading across a river, while they're on patrol. Like it's a real, just everybody's stance is kind of natural, like you've caught them in motion, moving across. It just really turned out beautiful. It's an excellent shot. Um, did it take you long to set this up? Did the water make it more difficult? Was it an easy shot to capture?
I mean, it takes a little bit. Like the poses are the toughest thing because just setting it down and seeing how it looks on camera versus what you're before you set it in, or, you know, you're just making those tweaks and just hoping that when you're tweaking the one, because I just like one thing will bother me, and everything will be perfect except for like one arm position. I'm like, all right, I gotta tweak that, and then I gotta tweak it without like causing a problem with all the others, without having a domino effect, which happens a lot. But I mean, it wasn't that difficult. It's really shallow. The camera's on a little tripod, just basically on the beach. So, but it just takes that time of just making sure that every detail you could get is as perfect as possible. That a figure falls in, and you got to kind of shake off the water because droplets are really big on the figure, and that kind of ruins the illusion. So. Yeah,
you talking about that would be something that I wouldn't even think about, the droplets and and how big they would look on a 3 3/4 inch figure. I mean, how challenging is it to do a shot in water in a like an area like that? Because I know I said to Mark, or asked Mark about the challenges of doing it in the rain. I mean, how difficult is it to do a shot like that in the water?
Well, luckily the feet could go a little bit in the gravel, so so they are, although they will fall over, they fall over less because they do have some protection of with their feet under some sand, tiny pebbles. But and with the I don't think about the droplets until like I take a couple pictures and I'm looking, and before I'm like, all right, am I ready to kind of walk away? And I'm like, oh, that's a problem. Okay, I got to go back and do it again. And then I have my daughters with me, and they're rolling their eyes like, that is good enough. I'm like, no, you guys will know when when you guys are taking your pictures, and you want to get that perfect shot is what you got to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you not put them on figure stands then, or do you just, like you say, just
they weren't here? They weren't here. These are all just standing in water. Just like I said, there's enough gravel to hold them steady. Hold them upright.
That's awesome. I just love it, and like Mark touched on the how you've got the figures posed and stuff like that. I mean, they do look great. And I mean, a lot of people would say you get more of a, I don't know, more realism from the 6-inch Black Series figures. But I think what you've done here, how you've captured this shot is just phenomenal. It really is. It really is. Is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo?
I don't know. I mean, I just still look at some of the, like, I would say, what do I have in here? 7 figures. I would say I'm really super happy with 4 of the poses, and the other 3, I'm like, maybe I'd tweak it a little bit, I know like the middle guy is the Minban trooper, his head's not quite looking at camera, but not everybody could be looking, straight at camera, it's just sort of like, it's more natural when somebody's like, looking off to the side, and, you gotta mix it up like that. So,
apart from the Minban trooper in the center, what are the other 2 that you
like the guy on frame, if you're looking at frame left, it's like, I like that pose, but I don't know how natural it is, like wading across the water. It's a great pose if he's just kind of standing there, having a photograph taken. But like the guy next to him, now that's a good, like, all right, this guy's like trudging forward. He's doing his thing. So it's that's the thing. But I'm very happy with the picture.
Awesome, Mark.
Yeah, well, look, it is an awesome picture. Like I said, I absolutely love it, and I love all the poses. And like you said, you can't have everybody just kind of hogging for the camera. They would be looking in different directions and the like. So I really do think you've nailed this in that respect. Like, what is it about this particular one though that cracks your your top 5. What was it that made you pick this one over all your others?
Well, I like good focus. I like deep focus, and that's really hard to get on a phone camera. But it's enough that the foreground's just it's a little soft, and the background's a little soft, and just it gives a bit of an illusion of a depth of field, and that really helps. And just like I lucked out, just the way the sun is peeking through, and the light sparkling off the water, the green in the background. I don't know. I lucked out with the angle. It's lucky shot.
No, it's a great shot. I mean, so did you take a series of shots for this, or did you take
Oh, heck yeah. Oh
Yeah,
no,
you
I take
did.
a bunch, and a little higher, a little lower. I'll tweak a guy, cropping, just making sure that everybody can see the camera. It's just I'll take a couple dozen.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's one of my favorites. I mean, I loved it last time we chatted about it, but when we did My Collecting Life, but this is just fantastic. So we've move on to the next one. Okay, again, another absolutely awesome shot, and you've really captured the mood here with this one. So what was your thought process or inspiration for this photo? It seems a silly question because I've got a pretty good idea what it might be, but we're going to let you explain it anyway.
Well, yeah, I just wanted to take right from that second episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And this is at Vasquez Rocks. If you could turn the camera right a little bit, you would see where Captain Kirk ran up, escaping from the Gorn. It's right there, as right at the base of that plateau there. But no, I just wanted to try to replicate that best. I mean, this is just after the Razor Crest came out, and it's like, just such an amazing piece. I had to get it out there and photograph it in the wild. The only little thing that I did to alter it was just took 2 shots and tried to erase the stand so that Grogu would be hovering there. But other than that,
you know what? I've never even noticed that. I never even noticed that until you said that. Oh yeah.
And I'm not great with Photoshop. I don't even have Photoshop. It's just this one program that I have. I could layer 2 photos on top of each other, and I could erase the top photo and whatever's underneath. So I'll have a camera locked off. I'll take a picture. Then if I want to erase something, I'll remove it. And then put them on top and just take the erasing tool. And if you zoom it in, you can see a little bit of the distortion, but it's good enough for this.
Yeah, no, it does look awesome. Absolutely awesome. Loving it. Mark?
It's fantastic. And I had to do a double take, because it does look like it could be a screenshot from the TV show. Like it's that good. It's a beautiful shot. And I'm really just loving how you've put so many different figures to use here. Like you've got so many different types of Jawas. I can even see the vintage style Jawa mixed here as well, which is really cool. Like to see one of them crop up. So you've just that sandcrawler, is that that's like the old sandcrawler they brought out, what, about like 15, 20 years ago? Where's that from?
That is and I think it's still available. It's the Disney Parks version. So it's a little bigger than it's is it twice as big? It's maybe 50% bigger at least than the original mold.
Right. No, it looks amazing, and it works perfectly for what you're trying to capture here. Did it because you're on location for this shot, obviously, did it take you long to get all this stuff set up for the shot?
This wasn't so bad. No, I mean, it's just maybe an hour to kind of set things, and then there's a whole shoot, so I got in and did various angles and all that stuff. And I'm just remembering the thing that I'm kicking myself. The only thing that I regret is that for whatever reason I didn't have the back ramp down. So when I was either doing a video or something like that, and I'm like, oh, do I have to redo things because I don't have that ramp down? And again, Mock Afra is with me. She's with me on all these shoots, and she's like, nobody's gonna notice, no one's gonna care. I'm like, all right.
Would that have made much of a difference then, Anthony, if you had the ramp down?
No,
you don't think
not
it
at
would have
all. Not at all. I'm just way too hard on myself. I'm, trying to be meticulous as possible. But one thing I've learned is that there will be nitpickers, but not enough to beat yourself up over
Would
it.
that not have then, if you had the ramp down, just shone a little bit of light into so you could see the
It
interior?
absolutely would have.
Or
Yeah, it absolutely
it
would
would have
have.
done.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, okay. Yeah. I mean, I like that. And so the scale is the Sandcrawler and the Razor Crest roughly the same scale, or is it?
The Sandcrawler is woefully underscaled. It should be at least twice as big as that version right there.
Wow. So when you went to do this shot, would you not have thought about doing forced perspective and having the Sandcrawler just that little bit further back, just to?
Well, I guess I could have brought. Well, I just don't have the right lenses to pull it off. I definitely would have had to brought the Sandcrawler a lot closer. And plus, with the higher angle, it's still a bit tough to pull off.
Okay. Well, my question was: is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo?
No, I don't think so. Like, other than the back ramp, yeah, not really. I mean, again, I someday I'm gonna get a grown-up camera and not use my phone. But until then,
So
I'm very pleased.
Wait a minute. You've taken these photos on your phone?
Yeah.
Oh my life.
I know, right?
Wow.
Because I would love to have like a 70mm lens to get a really nice depth of field, or even a 50, but that's just all on it's not this camera, it's my previous camera, my previous phone. But
Yeah. Again, that is a decent high quality picture for a phone. That's unbelievable. Wow. Mark?
Yeah, well, look, I too hope to someday get an actual camera and stop using my phone one of these days. But no, look, it's a great shot. It really is. And look, when it comes to the scaling and stuff like that with the Sandcrawler, like I wouldn't have even had a clue that it even was that kind of undersized or whatever, because you did get the angle good, that you're seeing the stuff being brought in the entrance of it, but you're not seeing the full vehicle. No, look, it's a phenomenal shot. What was it about this one that got you putting it in the top 5?
Just location, taking my toys out, outside the play, and just the setup, recreating a scene. It's just a personal pleasure for me to try to recreate in toy form what I saw on the screen. It says a lot about Hasbro and the detail that they go into in order to recreate the toys, recreate this stuff, so we can do stuff like this.
Yeah. Again, I think it's a great shot. I really do. I like it a lot. And so, how many Jawas did you have for this shoot?
Ooh,
I mean,
geez. I mean, I think I brought every different sculpt of Jawa that I had, both vintage and, all the way from sadly, I got to confess, the Vinyl Cape Jawa there is a repo, unfortunately, but everything from that.
I didn't even spot him.
No.
Oh, wow.
He's near the side ramp.
I see that now. Yeah.
But everything through the vintage collection one came out a couple of years ago. So I honestly, how many 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So, probably at least a dozen.
Wow. I mean, aren't you worried that you take your bits and bobs, your toys and stuff like that, and you set up and you drop something and you lose something? Does that ever cross your mind?
I was just about to mention that because I specifically remember going over and over again, both me and Virginia and Doc Afra, just like, all right, we got everything. Because, I'll bring a box and I'll make sure that the box doesn't have any holes in it. I'm pretty confident about it. I know how well to transport things, but, I'm like, it's all the figures have their blasters, there's never a guarantee, but I'm fairly decent at keeping track of everything. But
Yeah.
I dummy check 2 or 3 times before I leave
Yeah.
a location.
I was going to say that would really worry me that I've left something behind or I've lost something, or do you know what I mean? And I wouldn't realize until I got back, and I'd be like, oh my gosh. I mean, do you use this area quite a bit then? This certain particular area?
Oh, I mean, I like going up there. There's a variety of landscapes, especially the desert landscape. There's just a lot. There's just a lot of little places you could go to get some shots. And it's a very common filming location. I've been up there dozens and dozens of times for work.
What is it about taking photography outside then that appeals to you? Because I know Mark does pretty much all of his photography outside. What is it for you that gives you that appeal to do it outside?
Just the nature. I mean, it's the landscape helps to, because the landscape's real. Your eyes know it's real. They know rock when they see it, and when you put the figures with it, it just helps with that illusion. It just makes these toys a little bit more real and fools you into thinking that you're looking at a real, you're looking at a real object, but you're looking at a real scaled object, 1-to-1.
Yeah. No, it's awesome. Right, let's move on to the third one in your top 5. I think you've frozen there, Anthony, for a bit, mate.
You think what?
Your camera's frozen.
Oh, can you see me?
We can see you, but you're frozen.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, well, weird. I see me, huh?
I think you're back now on my side. Might be just your end, Stu.
Okay. All right. No worries.
Okay.
We'll crack on. On.
Good.
So here's the next one.
All right.
So, what was your thought process and inspiration for this photo?
Well, I was trying something new. The background, the black material is called duvetine, which is a very common photographic material to just block out light. I'm probably silly for using it because you could see the dust a lot, and little debris a lot more easier. But I really lucked out on this one. This is when I first started doing it, and I was trying to figure out how to light and kind of give that just see a little bit of the background, just to distinguish with the characters, to separate them from the background. And but I think the silver, the Beskar, really helps to make everything help pop in a better way. And I have not been able to replicate this. It's just I had a light, just shooting them from the front, just off the side of camera. I had a key light a little bit higher, and then I had a kicker in the back, just this little, in fact, like one of these little lights, just kind of kicking it in the back to give it a little highlight. But it also lit the ground, just to give it this great texture. And I don't know, like I said, I have not been able to replicate this, but just everything about this is just, I lucked out on the lighting and the separation of the background and the figures, and it just, with the poses, I lucked out.
No, it's
been one of my happy ones.
Mark?
I love it. And I wouldn't, well, look, I know you're saying you lucked out, but I think I have to commend you on how you've actually posed each of the figures individually, because you've managed to get not only are they in really kind of iconic poses for the moments that they're kind of in, but also you've spaced them really well, that no one figure really just eats up the photo. Like you just got this great kind of group shot of the different versions of Mando. I just think it works out. It just comes across really, really well. Did it take you long to get this kind of posing and spacing and all this sorted out, or?
It's all about the same, just I sit down with a blank slate and I'm like, all right, well, get all the Mando figures, and but this one's got to have a different pose, and it's just there's a standard amount of time, and then you fuss, take a couple pictures, and you're like, you could do better on this one. And I do worry about the spacing. That's I cheat and use the grids, but I dead space is a killer. So it's just I do worry about all that stuff when I take my photographs, so that it looks what's the word that I'm looking for? It's staged well,
Yeah.
composed.
Say, that's one thing
composition.
that's one thing I wouldn't have thought about is the spacing and like the dead space and stuff like that. That wouldn't have even entered my mind. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
What is it? So what? I'd say because I'm not a toy photographer, so I don't really know too much about photography at all. So when you say dead space, can you explain that, please?
I was easily taken the Mando Deluxe there holding Grogu, and I think it's the crease one that's to his left.
Yeah.
And the blaster is behind him. I could have definitely shown that, maybe moved that over a little bit, but there would have been too much black in between the two, and it just would have offset it in a bad way.
Awesome. I like it. I think it's an intriguing kind of photo. And again, there's me saying that you do your photography outside. This obviously was done inside.
Right. And right behind me, actually,
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
I mean, obviously I have a little table. Well, I don't use that table anymore. I have a bigger table that I off to the side right here, that I have a bigger space for photography now. But basically I used to shoot it right here. Like this shelf I used to hang lights from, and hang the Duvetine from back there. So
no, again, it's an intriguing shot. I really like it, and the more I look at it, the more I think, yeah, that is a really cool shot. That's awesome. Is there anything that you would change or do differently for this photo, or are you happy with how it is?
This is one of those, I would not change a thing. This turned out great.
Yeah. Awesome. I was going to say, I thought it was like a photo to Hasbro to show them how many of the TVC Din Djarin's and Mandalorian figures that they've done. So are you going to be adding to this photo when you get more, when you get the next?
Maybe. I mean, what do we have? We have the Boba Fett. What else do we have? Well, we're getting another one in a couple months. From the Circle, from the Book of Boba Fett version. And you know what I don't have in this photo is the carbonized version from Walmart. I don't have an opener of it, but I also kind of figured it was a little redundant. It may not have photographed as well.
Would you really wanted that carbonized one in there?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think I'm going to leave it out the next one as well.
Yeah. Oh no, cool, interesting stuff. Mark?
No, I think you're right to maybe exclude the carbonized version. I think what you've managed to capture here, it's literally kind of, or at least most on screen iterations that we see of Mando. That's what I like about it. You get to see the slight differences and variation in the character as you see it throughout the show, which is what I think this captures so well. It's also a really kind of nice what I would kind of call a beauty shot for these figures, because they're so well posed. This is the type of picture you could put in like a toy catalog back in the day, and you could actually sell these figures off a picture like this. It just looks really, it's like a studio shot. It looks really cool. So I can probably guess anyway, but I'll ask you, like, what is it about this one that makes it into your top 5?
Yeah, just everything. I mean, like you were saying yourself. I mean, I'm very pleased with the poses. I'm very pleased with the lighting. There's just something about the quality of the way the light's hitting off the dubatine, because it's the fuzzy side that's up. It's just it's just one of those things. Just, lightning struck. Everything was working that day. So and it's just a very pleasant looking figure photo. It just,
Yeah,
there's so much about it.
yeah,
The crease figure, I never changed the pose. That's still like that's in my display, same exact pose, because like I don't think I could do any better on that.
that is awesome. I mean, so what makes you happy with the posing? How do you go about wanting to pose a figure, especially these guys in the poses they are? I mean, I don't know. I mean, I pretty rubbish at posing my figures on the
Takes a
shelf. I
little
need to
work
really.
Yeah, no, it takes a little work. I know the guy on the
Yeah.
end who the one on the end doing the his wrist rackets, programming them, and I think he changed a couple times where I'm like, all right, what can I do different? And I'm like, oh, his like he's working his gauntlet pad. So yeah,
I mean, to get them to
Let's see.
stand as well, because I know how difficult it can be to stand some of the 3 3/4 inch figures.
Yeah.
I mean, did you have any issues with that? Were they playing up, or did
There's always issues until I find the right balance.
Yeah.
It's just that's the thing. I'm a little. It might be sacrilege to say, but I'm a little bit weary of the rocker ankles. They are great for doing certain poses, but
Yeah.
at other times they could be really finicky to get them right, to find that right balance.
Mm. Yeah, no, I think it's a great shot, and like I say, the more I look at it, the more I'm thinking that is genius. That's just absolutely incredible, really cool, awesome stuff. Right, we'll move on to your fourth choice. Here we go. Yeah, this to me just smacks enormity and the grandeur of the Imperials. I mean, that is some setup. I'm loving that. Again, I'm guessing that's at the same place.
Yeah, different day. Vasquez Rocks.
Vasquez Rocks, yeah.
Yeah, this was definitely a beast. I learned a lot. It was windy that day, so definitely a little bit of a challenge. And I was also fighting time because I guess we weren't there. We weren't there over the summer. It definitely would have been too hot. And by the time I got up, got everything up and started photographing, then the park ranger was like, "You got an hour." I'm like, "Oh no!"
Oh, wow.
I was like, "I gotta photograph it and tear it all down." This is a bit away from where we parked, so we have a big wagon, collapsible wagon that we throw everything in, and just trying to do enough different poses to make it look like this active scene.
So what was the thought process or the inspiration behind this one then, Anthony?
I just wanted to get a lot of figures out there and just show the Imperial Army just like rushing, just sort of like on attack. So yeah, and I really, until I got out there, I really didn't know what I was going to do. I just threw a couple adats in there, a couple walkers, and I think at every VC like 40 style figure and above that I had, I threw in a box and put up there, and just hope for the best.
Yeah, well, you've done a great job. That's fantastic, Mark.
It's top tier level stuff, really. Like it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. Do you mind if I ask, like, roughly, how many, like, say, just standard stormtroopers would be in this picture? Because it looks like you've got a proper, battalion, a full legion of troops charging across the battlefield.
At most, it's probably well, it's not even a full company. I mean, it's probably maybe 3 platoons at 38. So I think I went out there with about 100 figures.
Wow.
Well, it's amazing because like even just as I'm leaning closer and closer towards the screen because I can see row after row after row. Like you can see how deep it actually goes. Like how long did this all take to set up? Because it seems
This
incredibly
one,
intricate.
it took a while. I mean, finding the spot to photograph it at was a big challenge, and like I said, that was a bit of a time waster by the time we got down there, and then the wind definitely was an issue. And one thing I did learn and had to remember is that certain times of the day the wind picks up, so I knew I had to wait a little bit for it to die down. And everything's on stands. Definitely couldn't pull off
I was going to ask that
without it.
question, Anthony.
Yeah.
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 But this was a good 2 hour setup, I think, if
Wow.
not a little bit
Well, it
more.
shows like it's amazing. It looks up and look, I can as someone, and I know Stu owns one, at least one as well. But those chicken walkers, sometimes trying to just get them to
Yeah.
stay
Oh
upright
yeah.
is a task in itself. So the fact
Yeah.
that you've managed to have them pose, that they've stayed in position for you, at least I hope they did while you were doing these shots. Like it's amazing that you're able to just bring it all together. Like it really is so expansive, and it's just amazing. Like it's like it's a proper
Mm.
battlefield situation.
Yeah, and this is harder because I think I did initially set up with the camera and put everything in the frame, but but you're just setting up for that one angle, and then when you break when you break the lock and then you're moving around, then you don't have that luxury of like, well, this let's move this walker over here a little bit or this guy over here. You just got to find the angles that work. To, to just so it doesn't, to fill the space well, and just yeah.
I was going to say, of all the photos you've done, Anthony, would you say this would have been the most challenging just for the sheer scale of it?
No,
Yeah.
I would definitely agree, and I learned a lot. I think I would try to pose before I get out there. It's just with the boxes that I have. Because that's the thing is you get out there, you get a figure, then you're posing it, and that takes a bit
Yeah.
of time to get it down. So I would do a lot of prep work before I actually got it out there or got out there.
Yeah. Yeah. Again, just incredible. Absolutely incredible. Is there anything you would change or do differently for this photo, or are you pleased with how it, the final outcome
I'm
of it?
pleased.
Yeah.
I might use a little bit more depth. If I had, I have more vehicles that I could have brought, but I didn't know what I was going to do at the moment. I just figured I'll just bring a amount of stuff, but I would try to put some stuff in, in between on the right hand side of the picture. I'd try to put a little fill in there, another walker or two further back, just and on the other side as well, just to give it more sense of depth.
Did you not? I mean, because I mean, I was going to ask you whether you used stands. You can see that you have used stands. Was it didn't enter your head to sort of like just cover the stand slightly with like sand so that it looked like they were freestanding, or are you just
We
happy with
were
how it is?
at a certain point. There was just so much to do. I didn't have that
Yeah.
luxury. I mean, it was me again. It was Virginia and her daughter. We're all we're all out there, and it gets warm, and you're just in the elements, and you don't want to spend forever doing it. And it's just I
No,
know what it
sure, I guess,
takes,
yeah.
and I would love to be able to do something like that. But you need it really for something like this. You need a team of people, which I didn't have.
Yeah. Again, it just looks incredible. I mean, the time and the effort and the work that goes into these photographs, you just wouldn't realize. Like you say, it's a massive project that you've taken on there with that picture, and yeah, it does. It looks phenomenal. Mark, anything else you want to add to this?
Oh yeah, it is amazing. And to be honest with you, until it was pointed out to me and until you mentioned it, like I wouldn't have even really noticed that they're on figure stands. Like, and I
Yeah.
know, like, we collect these figures and we know how difficult it can be to pose them, and you will need a stand. But like I said, unless I was actually looking out for it, I wouldn't have noticed it. And I think it's part of the beauty of this picture. Like, it is so realistic. Like, I'm not automatically thinking I'm looking at, toys on the ground.
Yeah.
It looks like
Yeah.
an actual battle scene. And like I mentioned earlier, like in terms of the depth with the rows and the rows, like the more I'm looking at the picture, I just keep seeing extra stuff. Like, I'm noticing those speeder bikes in the background and what appears
Is
to
there
be like
speeder
an
bikes on there
Imperial
as
Pro.
well?
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
look,
man,
look at
like
that.
one,
Oh
two,
God.
three.
Yeah.
There's four speeder bikes. There's
Ah,
a couple of Imperial probe droids. Am I right in
mhm.
saying I'm
Yep.
seeing
Yep.
Imperial probe?
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can
like
see a
Hmm.
it's
probe
amazing.
droid. Wow.
It's so detailed. Um, yeah, well, look, another. I know it. I can kind of see why it would crack your top five, but why did you actually choose this one for your top five?
Just because of that, it was a lot of work, and it's just a cool shot to see. Not like I have a table with the army on it, and they're all standing in attention. But like just having them out and having them like active,
Mm.
that's just really fun. And I want to redo this. I definitely want to go out there again with a little bit better planning and try to try to do better.
When you say do
Uh,
better, how do you mean by that? I mean, what was it that you would do
Just
better for this? I mean,
better poses, better
yeah.
poses for the figures. Just being able to get better angles, just kind of get a better sense of scale. Um, I think more it's more the scale to me, to be able
Yeah.
to take a shot like this and just uh just fill in back there, just just have it like infinite, that just have it like, it's the Imperial armies coming upon you, and there's there's no escaping. These guys are gonna come down on you hard.
Yeah. 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 I think it looks immense. It's just absolutely fantastic. Right, we're crack on with the last one then. So this is
Hmm.
the last picture in your top five.
Ah, yes.
This again is just absolutely awesome. So, what was your thought process or inspiration for this photo?
It's funny. I was when I was doing a little thing, I had some downtime. I'm like, all right, I'm gonna do a little photography, and I'm gonna do one day I'll do one stormtrooper, another day I'll do two stormtroopers, another day I'll do three stormtroopers, and I went up
Yeah.
to like five, but um, yeah, I mean, it was all improvisation. This is just was down the street from where I used to live, and in fact, this photo is on my business card, on the back of my
Oh
business
wow.
card, just cropped a little bit differently, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, um, just like a SWAT raid, just like they're coming in, they're coming for you,
It
and they're
just looks
covering,
absolutely
yeah.
phenomenal. I love it. I really do. It's so cool.
Yeah,
Really
definitely one
cool.
of my favorites. Just lucked out with
Yeah.
the angles on the guys and getting in
Mm.
there, and definitely giving it. Yeah, it's a great sense of scale. They look fairly lifelike.
Yeah, they do. Absolutely. Mark?
Fantastic. And I know, like, you just managed to capture these. They're almost like classic stormtrooper poses. Like, we always get these like brief kind of shots of them, especially if you see a still from the movie or one of the TV
Yeah.
shows. It's like you've managed to get all their most popular kind of stances. No, it's a beautiful shot. It's a beautiful shot. Did it
Yeah, I
take you
think.
long to set it up, or?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was just you just mess around an hour, for about an hour, laying on the ground, like and you just like you choose your poses, and you fuss with the distance between each other, and and that's one of those instances where I you know put one guy down, I set the camera, I frame him up, and then I put the other guys around that just kind of try to give the right distance, and the just the right look, and to complement
Mm.
the main guy, who is the center guy, just yeah it's just like anything else. You're playing, you're you're playing with the camera right in front of you, right there, and just making sure that every detail is right to just to make it look as cool as possible.
Oh, you've certainly captured the coolness of it. And what I love about this picture is the fact that the guy to the, so you got the center stormtrooper, the guy to, if you're looking at the screen, the guy to the left, it looks like he's just slightly out of focus. And it's the same with the guy on the other side as well. And the background slightly out of focus. And I think that really does add to the photo for me. I just think it's an absolute fantastic shot. The poses, the sense of something's just about to go down, like you say, a raid and stuff like that. And you've really, really captured that in this picture. I think it's absolutely fantastic. Is there anything that you would do differently with this one, or are you happy with how that is?
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with it. I mean, this is the uncropped shot. I think I maybe not as happy with the guy on the right as much, but still, it's great. I mean, the angle of the sun was great, and I don't think I had a bounce on this. I don't think I needed it. Just everything was working well for us. So you know, you take a bunch of pictures and you hope that one or two come out all right.
Yeah, yeah, it's certainly come out all right. I mean, how do you know when you're happy with a shot, Anthony?
I mean, when I have nothing left to fuss over. I mean, just for this one, I just geek out. I'm like, the guy to the left is slightly out of focus, and his blaster's down, he's looking ahead, and it's like, it's just, I don't know, it just looks real. And that puts a smile on my face.
Yeah, absolutely. Mark?
Well, look, you definitely nailed it in terms of, the realism factor. And I think as well, it's, the way that everybody's posed, and like Stu was mentioning as well, how, two of the troopers are slightly out of focus. It gives the impression of motion. Like you don't get the impression it's just like two, statuesque figures. Like it actually feels like these three are moving down, through a canyon or something. They're aiming, they're walking and moving at the same time. Like you've captured that feel perfectly. So what was it with this one then that got her into the top 5?
Oh, I think with all of them, it's the same. It's just I just feel like I captured a little bit of lightning in a bottle. Again, I love taking photographs. I can do a composition well. I think that's one of my strengths, and just getting in there and not a lot of dead space, and using framing well. But one thing I'm really not great at is the lighting. So when everything works out, it just, I don't know. It's just, I'm pleased with it.
Yeah. I mean, I'd say the lighting looks pretty spot on this one.
Yeah.
I mean, because the thing is, it must be so difficult when you're taking photographs outside to get that lighting right, because you never know what the weather's going to be doing. It could, you know what I mean? You could be setting up a shot and you think, I've got the perfect image in my head, and then it clouds over or something happens. Do you know what I mean? So I guess that's just a chance you've got to take when photographing outside. And I think what I love about this photograph as well, you've got like the space is filled very well, if you know what I mean. There's no what you would call dead space there. I mean, yeah, you've got like nothing behind the guys at the top here, but I don't think that matters. I think you've just captured that absolutely perfectly.
Oh, well, thanks a lot. Yeah.
No, you're welcome. How difficult was it for you to pick a top 5 from all the photos that you've done?
I think there were probably another 5 that were kind of came close, but just looking back at, I've been only doing this a couple of years. These are photos that either really look good or put a lot of effort into doing. Like the previous photo, like that's more about the scale, and that was a lot of effort.
Yeah.
It definitely has to make my top 5 for various reasons. I guess mainly because of the effort that I put into it, because I wanted it to be, I wanted to give it this sense of scope. But other things like that, I'm trying to be artistic. I'm trying to kind of give these guys a pose to bring them to life, and to give it that soft background, and I'm just trying to create a little bit of art, for as much as you can with
It works,
toys.
Anthony. Whatever you're doing, it's working. It's just fantastic, and you're certainly bringing these characters or these figures to life. And like Mark said on one of the other pictures or photos earlier, it looks like it's a still from a film. It really does. They are that good. And like the one with the Jinjarans, it looks like it could have been a shoot for a magazine like you'd have as a kid, and you'd see the different figures and stuff like that.
That's
It
such
is
a huge
top quality
compliment.
photography, Anthony. Top quality photography. I mean, Mark, is there anything else you want to add to this before we finish up?
Well, for me, the picture we looked at second to last, with that kind of the battlefield scene with all the walkers and the troopers, like that really kind of makes me kind of go back and think, maybe I shouldn't have gotten so deep into Black Series and should have stuck more in the 3 3/4 inch scale, because like I think the most troopers I've ever managed to kind of successfully fit into a shot while still kind of trying to keep things together was probably maybe about like 8 or 9. So to see like 100 troopers on a battlefield, and just the actual scale that you can create through the spacing, posing, the positioning of the vehicles, it's just it just really blows my mind. Like I really think you've really just nailed a perfect scene here. Like even the silhouette of the landscape in the background, it's just everything just scales really well. It just comes together perfectly. It's definitely given me food for thought about maybe reinvesting a bit more in some of the smaller scale figures, so I can try and maybe pull
I
off
was going to
something
say
a bit
with
more
that, Mark,
grand.
would you not be able to use sort of like the troopers that you do have, but then just set them up in different poses and do it in different locations around the scene that you want to you've envisaged or envisioned, and then Photoshop them onto or would that not work for you?
Oh, I could look. It's definitely something I could look into and
Yeah,
try. But I suppose even the kid in me, in a way, would love to be kind of down on the ground with just a ton of these figures
yeah,
and vehicles,
yeah,
because that's it as well. Like, isn't like there's just knowing that they're physically all there. Like there's no trickery here. All of these guys are right here in front of your eyes, and like earlier on, I was like counting the speeder bikes, and like there's just so much going on.
yeah,
And the fact that it's all done practically, without any kind of editing or anything like that, really go like or like trickery in terms of trying to remove things or do anything. It's just so
yeah.
well done. It's so well done. I love it. Beautiful shot.
No, it is fantastic, and I've got to say, Anthony, I just want to say a massive thank you, my friend, for taking part in this series. It does mean a lot.
No,
I love your
I'm
photography.
honored because I like there's a ton of photography or toy photographers out there, like just like I look at the behind the scenes stuff and like, oh, time to go through all that detail, but I really admire that. And even the background, Mark's uh, picture here is like that's
Yeah,
gorgeous. I wish I wish I could take the time and detail to get the color right, and and that it's a beautiful composition. I mean, yeah, it's fun. I love this stuff. It's just really fun.
no, it's good, and I'm really glad you're here because I'd like to highlight the talent that you've got with your photography and your channel, especially with your stop motion reviews and stuff like that. I just the time and effort that goes into that. I mean, I know for a fact that it's not a quick process and stuff like that, and I just think what you do is just absolute genius with your photography, your stop motion, and you're just a great guy, an interesting guy to chat to. You talk really well, you explain things really well, and I can tell that you take a lot of time, pride, and passion in what you do, and that's really come across in today's chat. So thank you so much, my friend. It's been awesome.
I appreciate that very much.
No, you're welcome. You're welcome. Any final words from you, Mark?
I definitely have. Well, like this kind of happened the last time we did one of these shows as well. I'm always kind of inspired to try new things after chatting with talented people such as Anthony. So it's definitely given me food for thought for maybe trying a few new things in my own photography.
Yeah.
And you know, like you were mentioned there about Anthony's stop motion, I actually got to watch some of it this weekend. You know, before we did the show, and I was really, really impressed with what I've seen. So I'm happily telling you I've subscribed to your channel, and
Oh,
looking
thanks so
forward
much.
to watching and looking at more of your stuff. I'm really impressed with what I've seen.
Awesome stuff. Awesome. Anthony, just quickly before we go, where can people find you on social media? Because what I'll do is I will leave the links to those social media platforms in the description below.
Oh, thanks. Yeah, I mean, the Imperial Communique is on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where I feature, you know, my stop motion videos. So yeah, please subscribe. But also, you can find me on Instagram and X.
X now, isn't it? That's it. I keep putting
Yeah,
Twitter,
and
but it's
then
X. Yeah.
I also do a little bit of TikTok as well.
Do you really? Well, I never. Well,
Huh.
I wouldn't have put you down for a TikTok kind of person, but I shall find that and I shall pop those 4 links in the description below to this video. Ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you watching. This has been Anthony Sword from the Imperial Communique. I highly recommend you go over and have a look at his YouTube channel. It's absolutely phenomenal. His Instagram as well, the photography, just a top guy. It's been an absolute pleasure chatting to you. And again, thank you to BobaHicks for taking part and being my co-host. It's been awesome seeing you again. So thank you very much for watching. Take care, stay safe, and we shall see you in the next video. And bye for now.
Bye, guys. Please help. Make a wish come true.